Godzilla Awakening is a prequel graphic novel to the 2014 Legendary Pictures Godzilla film. It was written by Max and Greg Borenstein. Max Borenstein served as one of the screenwriters for the 2014 Godzilla film. The story kicks off in 1980 Tokyo, where a very young Ishiro Serizawa meets with his father. Serizawa's father then tells him the backstory of the Monarch organization and Godzilla, which makes the bulk of the story told in flashback. And in that flashback, we get the origin of Legendary's Godzilla and exactly where he came from. We get the origin of the Monarch organization, which was alluded to in Kong Skull Island, but we actually get to see it here. And we're introduced to a very dangerous hive mind parasitic kaiju named Shinomura. If you're a huge fan of the legendary 2014 Godzilla film, or if you're just really interested in Monarch and how it ties into this new monsterverse, then you should absolutely check out this comic. I found it pretty interesting, but not very mind-blowing.
3 stars!
In the legendary universe, Godzilla's origin starts off over 250 million years ago, where he's a gigantic alpha predator who depends on radioactivity to live. He spent most of his time combating the Shinomura, another radioactive-dependent kaiju. The Shinomura is very dangerous in that it operates kind of like a starfish. If you cut a piece of it off, that piece will grow into another Shinomura. So if not for Godzilla, this species could have easily taken over the Earth millions of years ago. Remember how in the movie balance was a big theme? It's a big theme here as well. Eventually, a huge asteroid hits the Earth and eradicates most of the life, and also diminishes the atmospheric radiation. This forces Godzilla to live either deep beneath the Earth closer to the planet's radioactive core, or deep beneath the ocean near the thermal vents, where he's been hibernating for millions of years. But then in 1945, the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, which lured both Godzilla and the Shinomura back to the surface. It's not implied that mankind's nuclear testing either created Godzilla or even mutated Godzilla. It's just that we simply woke Godzilla in this universe. I personally am not in love with that origin because it takes away a lot of mankind's accountability in Godzilla's existence and destruction. But since the 2014 movie has already established that he's more of a guardian for the planet, I'll go along with it. The Shinomura is a very interesting kaiju, and the way it works kind of reminds me of Destroya or even Hedorah. Looks-wise, it's okay. Kinda looks like a Muto that was taken over by the alien symbiote from Spider-Man or something. But still, I like the idea of this kaiju, and I wouldn't mind seeing it again in some form of media in the future. Also interesting, when the military first discovered Shinomura, they codenamed it with Muto. That kind of opens the door that one day, the Mutos from the 2014 Godzilla film might actually have a different name. Which I welcome, because I hate the name Muto. Oh, I hate it. I like getting the backstory of Serizawa's father and Serizawa himself here, and it kind of does add to the experience of watching him in the Godzilla 2014 film, although I'm not changing my score for it. The only issue is, even though this is a graphic novel well over 70 pages, the story feels very rushed. It's got a lot of backstory it wants to tell us, and I appreciate that, but man, things move fast. This might have served better as a miniseries. The art averages out as fine, it's good. You can tell they were having a lot of fun with the Shinomura because it doesn't really have one dedicated shape. And I have to say it again, I definitely feel the Spider-Man alien symbiote vibe with this kaiju. By far my favorite part of the comic, and the part I thought was the most interesting, was at the end when the military had an atomic strike on Godzilla at Bikini Atoll. This was referenced in the 2014 Godzilla film, but it was really cool to actually see it play out here. They even show the atomic deployment report from Monarch at the end of the comic, complete with all the redacted stuff, just like in the intro to Godzilla. I'm not going to spoil this one or explain what happens to the Shinomura, so if you're interested, I do recommend you check it out. And I like Serizawa, and I like getting his backstory here, and I hope they develop his character much more in the future movies than they did in the original 2014 film. So like I said, check out Godzilla Awakening if you're on board for the entire MonsterVerse experience. If not, I honestly don't think you're missing too much. And also, if you've already read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please comment and tell me what you think about Godzilla Awakening. I know I'm on record as not being head over heels in love with the 2014 Godzilla film, and I do like this comic a half star more, but I'm really rooting for this franchise, and I really hope that the next appearance of Godzilla blows all of our minds.